What's up, and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog fantasy pick'em plays for Thursday, August 8th, 2024. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DAILYDOG, DAILYDOG, at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app. If you use that promo code, you'll get a 50% deposit match bonus worth up to $250. I highly recommend taking advantage of that promo if you have not done so already. All right, the cat is here for the Daily Dog. We're going to get right into our picks right now, and I'm going to start out with a tennis match that starts at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern in Montreal at the ATP Masters level or ATP Masters level event happening north of the border. I'm taking Jannick Sinner lower than 0.5 sets loss against Borna Coric. I really do like Borna Coric as a player. The problem is he's playing so terrible right now, but I mean, there's a lot to like about Borna Coric. Coric in general, I mean, he's one of the guys who can piss off Stefanos Tsitsipas more than anyone else. So, I mean, that gives him an A-OK rating in my book because Steph is one of the most annoying players on the tour, in my opinion. But that has nothing to do with the handicap of this match. Sinner didn't go to the Olympics. He wasn't playing in Washington last week. He didn't play any of the clay tournaments that were leading up to the Olympics. He was out of gas at the end of Wimbledon, and he has taken basically a full month off to recover, to rest, and to get back into top form, and to try to win some points right here in Canada, and then in the next couple weeks in Cincinnati, and make sure that he holds on to that number one ranking, and or at least adds more points to protect that ranking. Like I said, he hasn't been active, and some people that would be scary, but for Sinner, who is just who's got all the physical talent in the world, I feel like all things equal, he probably has a leg up on Alcaraz just to his physical size, which just gives him a little bit of an advantage on the serve. And also just the length allows him to cover the court without having to run quite as much. But again, he still moves really well for a guy his size. So I think that this recovery this time off is actually a pro for Sinner. It is not a negative. And as I said earlier, Borna Coric is a guy that I really like and I like to root for, and I love to back him when he's in a good spot. But this is just definitely not a good spot. Coric hasn't won back-to-back matches since February, which is kind of crazy to say because he's a former top 20 player, a guy who's won Masters level events before. But Coric has been absolutely terrible this year, and he had to play in qualifiers. Just that's how far he's fallen. He's ranked number 94 in the world right now, so he had to play qualies to get into this Masters level event. 2 years off of his Cincinnati championship. It's just kind of crazy how fast he has fallen. So he's already played 2 matches, and then he also played a first-round match, which he won. So he's been kind of already exceeding expectations by putting together that many wins in a row. Because as I said, at any level, including challenger level, he hasn't won back-to-back matches since February, and he's already won 3 in a row here, albeit the qualifying opponents were not exactly world beaters, and they're guys that you would expect him to handle pretty easily. So I'm taking Sinner lower than 0.5 sets lost against Coric. I think Sinner just hits the ground running here. And I mean, I think that even if it is just kind of a little feel him out, hold serve first set, when it gets to the tiebreak, again, Sinner should dominate. And then if he wins the first set, I feel like it's steamroll city in the second set. You could play a games under in this one, but again, I just think that Sinner is not going to lose the first set, and maybe he does just try to get a little bit of fitness back and play to some longer sets, go to some tie breaks, or go, and just kind of draw this out a little bit, but while keeping it 2 sets. So that's why I like under 0.5 sets lost more than the games total in this one. This is a 0.75x multiplier, and honestly, I think it should be about 0.65x. I feel like that we might see 0.65x by the time this match starts, and again, it is early, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, but that is the first pick on the slip at our ATP Montreal Masters level tennis event. Tennis has been very hot lately. Again, I hit another tennis play by taking FAA yesterday, lower or higher than 0.5 sets lost. And of course he did that, and of course he lost the match in straight sets overall. So hopefully some of you guys were able to bet on him, or bet against him, and get Flavio Caboli at 3-1 or better. But that's enough tennis talk for now. Let's get to baseball. Baseball is the true the thing that's carrying us throughout this summer because we have so many games and so many opportunities. My baseball play on the show slip is Jordan Montgomery higher than 5.0 hits allowed against the Phillies. This is a ridiculous number for Jordan Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery is not good. I don't know what else to say about him. He is not a good player at this point. He has had a couple good games, but those are the outliers. The bad games are obviously much more frequent. I mean, obviously he's got a lot of average games in there as well. But Montgomery 5.0 hits allowed against the Phillies. The Phillies are number 2 in Major League Baseball in average against lefties. In Montgomery's last 10 starts, he's allowed 5 or more hits 8 times. He's allowed 6 or more hits 6 of those 10 games. He did play at the Phillies at the beginning of, a couple, 4 starts ago? And by the way, I should say that 10 start sample I was quoting does not include his last start, which was only 3 innings due to a 68-minute rain delay in Pittsburgh. So that one kind of is not normal, and that was kind of funky. So I did not include it. But I am going to, like I said, the prior 10 to that, he allowed 9 hits and 4 innings pitched against the Nationals, 3 hits and 5 innings versus KC, which is a good outing for him. He allowed 10 hits in 2.2 innings versus the Twins, 5 hits in 6 innings at the Phillies, 4 hits in 5 innings versus the White Sox, which again is pretty good for him. 6 hits in 5.2 innings versus the Angels. It goes on and on. But the trend is that they try to keep him 6 innings, let him go 6 innings, and basically the end of his service on the day usually comes about the time he's giving up his 6th hit in these games where he is able to extend to 6 innings. And then other games, he gives up double-digit hits in less than 3 innings. So there's a chance that we could be cashing this slip by the 3rd inning with Jordan Montgomery, because if he doesn't have his good stuff, this Phillies lineup is going to feast. Spoiler alert, when we get to the Dong squad, I definitely have a guy on the Phillies to take advantage of Jordan Montgomery's fall from good. So those two plays together is a 2.25x multiplier. That's plus 125 in sports betting terms. I definitely love playing both of these. I think, again, Sinner's number is going to change, and I have a feeling that Jordan Montgomery's number is going to change as well before these respective matches and games get going. I mean, again, it's just I can't get over Montgomery at 5.0 hits against the Phillies. Montgomery, the number 5 is reserved for really good pitchers, and 4.5 is obviously elite pitchers. And a lot of guys like Montgomery, I would expect to be listed at 5.5 or 6. And again, at first I was like, oh, maybe it's because he won't have a long outing. Maybe they're really limiting his innings right now, but they're not. They're not limiting his innings at all, and especially considering his last start got cut short due to a rain delay. He really should be in this game as long as possible, and his only short outings have come in games where he's been getting shelled early and often. Sorry about that. All right, let's get back to the promo. We got Underdog. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DAILYDOG, DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com. Get that deposit match bonus worth up to $250. There is a season-long NFL play that I wanted to talk about that I didn't get a chance to hit on Sports Gambling Podcast earlier today, or yesterday actually at this point, with Sean Green and Ryan Kramer. We were talking Steelers, and I really like Russell Wilson higher than 17.5 passing touchdowns. It's a 1.05x multiplier for his season-long underdog market. The thing is that Russell Wilson's had 20-plus passing touchdowns in every season in his NFL career outside of his first season in Denver, which was obviously a total crapshoot. And he was at 15 touchdowns in that game as well, in that season as well. So it's not like he was that far off. I just think that there's a lot of hype around, Justin Fields getting a start, Justin Fields packages. Oh, Arthur Smith's going to pound the ball with these running backs. I think there's going to be plenty of opportunity for Russell Wilson to get some red zone touchdowns, to throwing the ball up to George Pickens. Maybe if Brandon Ayuk shows up, that will obviously help a lot as well. And then Pat Freiermuth, always a threat in the red zone as well. So I really like Russell Wilson higher than 17.5 passing touchdowns for the full season for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Again, it just seems like a little bit low, and it feels like that number is based more off of hype than reality. And I just think that, Tomlin is going to want the guy who protects the ball. He's going to want the guy that's a veteran and who has played in a lot of big games. He's not going to just throw away this season and let Justin Fields learn on the fly. So obviously injuries can happen and everything else, but that is my season-long underdog pick for the Steelers if you guys are into playing long-term investments like that. All right, let's get to the Dong Squad, the best home run picks of the day. I'm going with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Obviously, he's been on fire lately. He's going against Dean Kramer, a guy he's hit 4 home runs versus 4, which is obviously not bad at all to have that familiarity. Also, I'm taking old Frankie Lindor in Coors Field. He has not had a home run yet in this series against the Rockies, and he gets to face Austin Gomber, who has allowed 22 home runs in 21 starts this year. That's over 116 innings pitched. He's allowed a bunch in his last several games, so I like Frankie Lindor here, that switch hitter. And I'm going to another switch hitter, Josh Bell, who has hit the ground running with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He gets to face Colby Allard of the Phillies, who is 2 starts on the year. They've both been 4 innings, and he's allowed 1 home run in each of those. Josh Bell, another switch hitter, another guy who is happy to hit from the right side of the plate and go yard, hit from the left side of the plate and go yard against a lefty. So, yeah, I am happy to have that one. These 3 plays together yield 73.125x return on your money. If it goes 3 for 3, if it goes 2 for 3, 9.75x. As always, do not wager a ton on the Dong Squad. The Dong Squad is for fun. The Dong Squad is awesome when it hits, but again, it's obviously a tall task to make home run picks that win every single day. The show slip, I'll give it out one last time. Jannick Sinner, lower than 0.5 sets loss versus Borna Coric at ATP Montreal. And again, that is at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then Jordan Montgomery, higher than 5.0 hits allowed against the Phillies for a 2.25x multiplier. All right, that's all I've got. Let's make some money.